Hi, Dr. Tara Egan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for being with me today. Today, we're going to talk about what kind of divorce you have and how it impacts your kids. So typically, a divorce results from a marriage not being successful. And oftentimes those marriages look like either openly conflictual, where kids are seeing parents have conflict, argue, fight. Maybe there's even some physical or violence involved in that, but not always. Or they may be progressing into separation or divorce after being in a marriage where there's sort of secret unhappiness, where kids didn't witness a lot of open resentment or disparagement or arguing, but they may have been a family that wasn't super connected. So these might be parents who didn't communicate well. The kids didn't see them act in an affectionate way. Maybe they didn't really spend time together. And so when we come from marriages like that, and then we proceed into separation or divorce, we tend to fall into one of three categories: amicable, strained, or high conflict. Well, why does this matter? It matters because the type of divorce that your child or children are exposed to impacts how they do post-divorce. Are they well adjusted? Are they happy? Are they doing all the things that we want kids to do as far as having, a little bit of naughtiness, a little bit of maturity, focus on their friends and their school and all those things we want our kids to be able to be free enough to do? Or are they struggling with a divorce where there's a lot more conflict and stress, and that impacts a child's mental health, well-being, and sense of safety? So obviously, we're always working to go through a separation and divorce that is going to benefit the kids as far as their adjustment. So let's take a second. Let's talk about an amicable divorce. This is, if you're going to get divorced, you're going to get separated, the more ideal way to go. This is where parents are setting aside their resentment or lingering negative feelings and being very focused on the kids and making sure that their decision-making benefits the kids. So this is where we don't see a lot of spiteful behavior. There isn't open conflict. If there is conflict, because there's always conflict in relationships, that's fine. That's a normal part of being in a relationship with someone. There's a resolution. There's a process where parents can get through those painful moments and either be able to make decisions or get to a place of goodwill and productivity. So with amicable, we see kids have the best adjustment because they see that their parents respect each other, are focused on them, can get through a conflict, and their life goes along relatively uninterrupted by their parents' separation or divorce. So obviously that they may still be going to two different houses. They may have different circumstances in each house. I'm obviously not minimizing that impact on kids, but the sense of emotional safety is really strong. So that's amicable. Unfortunately, I don't get to work with a lot of families who are in that space. Now, it's fortunate that they don't necessarily need extra support, but on the occasions that I do work with parents who are going through amicable divorce, it's usually under circumstances where parents are kind of disagreeing on one specific issue, or they want to put a system in place to be better communicators and better problem solvers. And they'll come to someone like me and we'll create a system and a process for them to be able to make decisions and keep positive feelings towards each other. And then they move on. I am more often tasked with working with parents who have either a strained separation or divorce or a high conflict. With strained, this is where there's tension. These might be parents who don't appreciate each other, maybe don't want to be around each other, or can be pretty easily triggered if the other parent does something that they find frustrating. Maybe they don't have 100% trust in the decisions that this other parent makes, but generally they're able to stay in a place of relative calm and able to move forward with decision making. They might both be able to go to a kid's soccer game. They might be at parent-teacher conferences together. They might do a great job communicating about expenses with the child, or being able to send a consistent message to the child about their medical treatment or about their school routines, even if sometimes they are in a place of frustration, or they might have to pause in their productivity to sort of deal with their frustration before they move to a more productive place. These parents often do very, very well in co-parenting counseling because they are parents who do feel motivated to have good communication. They are child-focused, but they may struggle with some residual feelings of resentment, or they might just be in a space where they haven't really developed a great process to make their way through disagreements. When it comes to high conflict divorces, which I do work a lot with a lot of individuals who are experiencing this is when parents have pretty open animosity towards each other. They may say hateful things. They may spread untruthful things about the other parent. They might be very focused on money and making sure that everything is kind of a tit for tat situation. They might speak ill of the other parent to the children, which is extraordinarily stressful for children. Or they might be so negative towards each other that all decision making about that child stops. So they can't figure out, is the kid going to go to camp this summer? So then the kid doesn't go. Or they are antagonistic toward communicating with other people in that child's life, like a coach or the parent of your child's friend who's also friends with the other co-parent. And it just ends up being stressful and negative. Kids often feel very resentful long-term towards their parents if they're exposed to a high conflict divorce or separation for a long period of time. I think most kids can understand that relationships kind of have their ebbs and flows, and they might say, oh goodness, when my parents were first split up, they were pretty angry at each other and they didn't talk, but then it sorted itself out, or they really worked on it and they do fine now. I think kids can recognize if parents have some growing pains as they're going through a separation or divorce, because the kids often do too. But there are some families I work with where there's been animosity or negativity for going on years, and decisions are very difficult to be made. They're just not seeing a lot of progress. So in those circumstances, when I'm working with families in co-parenting coaching, they may not get to a place where they really appreciate each other, but they might get to a place where they can at least have a system for productivity and minimize their connection or reasons to contact each other. Like they have a flow to it that keeps their need to communicate pretty low. And so then at least decisions can be made. And oftentimes with the conflict being low, they have a clear, stepwise process for communicating and getting things done. Then we can see the conflict and the negative feelings reduce. And then we may be able to shift from a high conflict relationship to a more strained or potentially even amicable arrangement. I have seen it where parents have been high conflict, legal, negative, and over time and hard work and getting the appropriate resources, they have shifted into a more amicable place. It can be done, although it's hard work. So hopefully this has been helpful. Ask yourself, what kind of separation or divorce do I have with my co-parent? How is it impacting my kids? Is there something that I can be doing to shift it to a healthier place? And if I can help you with that, reach out. You can find me at my website, which is www.drtaraegan.com. You can listen to my podcast called One Day You'll Thank Me and scroll through and find the episodes that relate to divorce and separation. Or you can look at some of the other YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much. Have a good day.